Grabbing my bow and my 9 phoenix circles, and Link equipped with the Master Sword, I kissed little Link, said a few words to Ruto, then Link and I headed for Lake Hylia and the Water Temple. We went to the stable to grab our horses. Since Epona was carrying, I saddled Star Dancer, and Link saddled Midnight Star. Mounting our horses, we left the sanctuary of our house and made our way through the blinding snow. The storm had kicked up again. It was very cold, and the snow knee-deep. The wind whipped our cloaks around as we pushed onward. Visibility was next to nothing. I could barely see Link in front of me. "Jenna, are you Orc?" Link yelled over the howling wind. "So far I'm Orc, but I can barely see anything in front of me." I yelled back. "Just follow the sound of my voice, my love. I will help guide you." Listening to Link's voice, I was able to follow him. We kept a steady pace, pushing through the deep, wet snow. I wrapped my now damp cloak around me, trying to stay warm. After some time, we finally came to the fences leading to Lake Hylia. By this time, the storm had died down some, so visibility was much better. Link made Midnight Star come to a complete stop, causing snow to kick up behind the stallion's powerful hooves. Pulling back on the reins, Star Dancer came to a complete stop just a few feet behind Link. "Why did we stop?" I questioned. "We need to jump these fences, but with the snow as deep as it is, I know that Midnight Star can make the jump, but do you think your mare can handle the jump?" Looking down at my mare, I patted her on the head and stroked her mane. "I have full confidence in her, Link. She can make the jump." "Then let's go!" Link yelled. Backing up his horse, Link prepared for the jump. When he had enough distance, he booted the horse in the legs and ran towards the fences guarding the lake. With a kicking up of snow, the black stallion flew gracefully over the fences, leaving a trail of mist behind him. Bringing the horse to a stop on the other side of the fences, he looked at me. "Now you make the jump!" Nodding, I backed up my mare and prepared for the jump. When I had enough distance between the fences and I booted my horse in the legs and bolted towards the fences. Just before I reached the fences, a cloud of snow kicked up behind my horse's powerful hooves as she made the rough jump over the fences. Link then took off in front of me and called for me to follow. I watched as the lake slowly became visible. When we reached the bank of Lake Hylia, we were shocked at what we saw. Pulling our horses to a complete stop, I exchanged glances with Link. "The lake is frozen over! How are we supposed to get inside now?" I said as we dismounted. Pulling out his bow, Link knocked an arrow of fire and shot it at the lake. Steam rose up as the fire melted the ice beneath its fiery rage. "Well, well, Link, you're full of surprises," I said with envy. Link smiled, then knocked a few more arrows and shot them one by one into the ice, creating a hole in the ice. "Now we can get inside," Link inquired. "Wait a second, Link. Isn't the door to the temple under the water?" Link nodded. "How do you suppose we are going to get in there?" Walking back over to his horse, Link reached into his saddlebags and pulled something out of it. Turning back to me, he threw the blue-looking tunic at me. "Put that on! That's the Zora tunic. It allows its wearer to breathe under the water!" I looked down at the tunic in my hands, wondering if it would really work. "Are you sure it's going to fit me?" Looking back at me, his eyes seemed to glow. "Don't worry, my love, it will." Looking back down at it one more time, I took it and slipped it on over my dress. Then I walked over to Link just as he finished putting his on. "Now, the entrance is at the bottom. The only way to get down there is with the iron boots." "Iron what?" I asked with curiosity in my voice. "The iron boots are boots made of iron."
Thank you, Donnie.
"To help the wearer to be heavy enough to walk on lake bottoms." "Oh, that's amazing. You never cease to surprise me, Link, my love," I said with a little giggle.
Now, since there is only one pair, you'll have to hang on to me, or you will just float back to the surface.
Nodding, I watched as Link equipped the iron boots. When he was ready, I grabbed onto his arm as we made our way into the lake. The boots made a loud clopping sound as we descended to the lake's bottom. Walking on the bottom of the lake made me feel a little uneasy, but I had confidence in my husband's abilities. When we reached the temple's gate, I looked up at the blood-red jewel sitting above the entrance. A slight shiver went down my spine as I stared at the ghoulish-looking thing. Hugging onto Link, we descended into the temple. As we walked further into the eerie temple, a wash of uneasiness ran over me. "Where do we go from here?" I said as I held on to Link tightly.
I'm not sure, but my best guess is we should head for that strange room.
As we descended deeper into the
Water!
temple, I started to feel as if someone was watching us.
I always feel like somebody's watching me.
Link, do you feel as if we are being watched?
Yeah, I feel it. I also feel a presence as well. He's here, I can feel it.
Feeling my cat-like instincts kick in, I raised my head up and sniffed the air. You're right. I smell something foul. He's close, I said, lowering my head. Closer than you think, a sneering voice called from within the temple. I jumped to the sound of the eerie voice echoing through the corridors.
Come out and show yourself. I know you're here.
Link yelled as he unfastened his sword in its sheath. Ha ha, so the hero of time has returned to challenge me. The sneering voice called again. You're more of a fool than I thought. I began to shake as the sneering voice continued to vibrate through the temple's corridors.
Fool? You're the fool? Why won't you show yourself?
Link screamed as he unsheathed the Master Sword. Just then we heard a shuffling sound behind us. Then the next thing I knew, I was struck from behind, and then all went black. When I awoke, I noticed I was lying on the floor, bound hand and foot with rope. Looking around the room, I saw Link sitting next to me, bound as well. I tried to tug at my bonds, but it seemed no matter how hard I tried, the bonds seemed to tighten.
It's no use, Jenna. I've already tried,
Link said in a faltering tone.
It seems that we are prisoner of my mirror self.
You are so white, called the sneering voice again. Just then a figure appeared in the doorway to the room. So, the hero of time is now my prisoner. How long I awaited this day, the day when I would get revenge on my counterpart. I watched as the shadowy figure moved forward, revealing an exact copy of Link, although the copy was darker, wearing a black tunic and hat, and those blood-red eyes shone with pure evil. As he approached Link, the look of him made me shiver in fear.
What are you going to do with us?
Link said, with hatred in his voice. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with you yet. Then he glanced over at me, his blood-red eyes piercing into my soul. But I think I have plans for this beautiful wife of yours, the mirror image said with amusement in his voice. Oh, by the way, call me Dark Link. Just then, Dark Link strode over and bent down beside me. Such a beautiful creature, he said as he put his hand under my chin, lifting my head up to face him. I shot him a look of hate. I have plans for you, sweet thing, Dark Link said as he ran his hands seductively down the side of my face. What the hell are you talking about? I looked up at him. His red eyes seemed to glow with an evil desire. Oh, I have a special plan for you. You will soon find out. He began to laugh, a laugh so hideous that it made my skin crawl. Realizing what he meant, my eyes grew as big as saucers. I want nothing to do with you in that manner, I cried as I spat in his face. You bitch, you'll pay for that. Whipping the spit from his face, he backhanded me, leaving a stinging sensation on my cheek.
How dare you hit my wife?
Link screamed. Well, it seems you're in no condition to do anything about it, Dark Link said with humor. Then the dark being faced me again. I'll be back for you real soon. Running his hand down the side of my face again, he smiled, then got up and strode to the door. Now, don't think of trying to escape, he said with a smack, then walked out.
We need no guards. There is no escape from our trap.
I looked over at Link. What are we going to do?
I don't know. He took my sword, and I cannot break the bonds. It seems we're at Dark Link's mercy,
Link said as his face faltered. I will not concede to defeat, I cried as I twisted forward.
I don't want to either, my love, but I'm at a loss on what to do.
I was beginning to grow concerned. The thought of what hideous things Dark Link might do to me sent shivers up my spine. I tried to tug at my bonds again, but to no avail. I was beginning to think that all hope was lost, when a glint of something shiny caught my eye. I peered deeper into the darkness on the other side of the room as I pushed myself away from the wall and slinked across the floor. When I got close enough to the shining object, I realized that the glints were coming off the gems on my phoenix circles. It seemed that in his haste to remove our weapons, Dark Link seemingly forgot to take my phoenix circles with the rest of the weapons. Link, look! Over on that table across the room, it's my phoenix circles, I said as I leaned forward.
How do you suppose we're going to get to it? We're still bound,
Link reminded. Looking back down at my bonds, the feeling of my cat instincts washed over me again. Gracefully, I leaned forward until my mouth met the bonds around my ankles. Slowly, I took part of the rope in my mouth and began to gnaw at it. Quickly, I chewed my way through the rope, knowing I had to make haste. I had to break my bonds before Dark Link returned. After some work, I managed to chew through the bonds around my ankles. I got up and staggered over to the table where my phoenix circles were sitting. Turning around, I took one of them into my hands and worked it around until the blade was resting against the bonds around my wrists. Taking it, I slowly managed to cut through my bonds. Putting my weapon down, I rubbed my wrists to soothe the pain from the slight wounds that came from when I tried to break the bonds. Link, I'm free! Grabbing my weapon, I walked over to him.
How did you manage to break your bonds?
Link asked with shock. Well, I owe it all to the training I had while I was traveling. Now it's time to break your bonds. Reaching down, I placed the blade of my phoenix circle against the bonds on Link's ankles. Snapping the ropes off, I motioned for Link to turn around. Placing the blade against the rope, I slipped it off in one swift swipe. Rubbing his wrists, he looked up at me with a smile on his face.
You're amazing, my love,
he said with a smile. I walked into Link's arms and kissed him. Then his expression changed into a serious one.
Now we must get out of here and find the rest of our weapons before Dark Link returns.
Nodding, I grabbed my phoenix circles and followed Link as we slowly made our way to the door. Inching his way out the door, Link checked to see if anyone was coming.
Coast is clear. Let's go,
Link whispered. Slinking our way down the dark corridors, the echo of Dark Link's taunting voice lingered in the air.
We must hurry. This way.
Link pointed towards a hallway with a light shining at the end. Winding through the shadows, we came upon a lighted room. Quietly, Link opened the door. Peeking inside, what we saw was a sight for sore eyes. There on a table sat our weapons. Oh my goddesses, there they are, I said as I ran inside. Link, the Master Sword is here along with our bows. Reaching over, I grabbed my bow and quiver. I swung the bow over my back, then threw the quiver over my shoulder. Then I grabbed the Master Sword, his bow and quiver, and handed them over to Link. Link took the sword and buckled it over his back, then swung his bow and quiver over his shoulder. Unfastening the sword, Link removed it from its sheath. He took the sword and swung it through the air, listening to the rushing sound it made as though it was cutting the air like a knife through butter.
I'm just glad to have my sword back,
Link said as he swung it one last time before sheathing it.
Now let's get the hell out of here.
Just then, the door swung open. Going somewhere? There in the doorway stood Dark Link. I told you to stay put. An evil sneer crossed Dark Link's face as he eyed us over.
I don't take orders from the likes of you.
Link sneered back. You will be after I'm finished with you. Just then, Dark Link drew a sword with a remarkably likeness to the Master Sword. At that point, with Dark Link holding a sword just like the Master Sword, I began to make a daring charge at Dark Link. Feeling my cat-like instincts kick in, I jumped gracefully into the air, aiming my weapons directly at his face. Just before I managed to strike, Dark Link raised his sword and blocked my weapon, causing a clank of metal and sparks to fill into the air. Falling back, I swiftly rushed forward and high-kicked Dark Link in the face, causing him to go flying back into a wall. Staggering back up, his face twisted into an evil grin. So, you want to play Woof, do you? He said, wiping the blood from his mouth. I can show you just how Woof I can play. A flash of white light surrounded the room, causing Link and I to be blinded. I felt myself being lifted into the air as if someone was carrying me. I heard Dark Link's sinister laugh ring through my ears, then all went black. With unblinking eyes, I stared into the blackness of the room I was in. Cold water shifted around my ankles as I walked around, pushing my way through the darkness. I listened for any sounds that might be my love Link. Link! Link, where are you, my love? Link, are you there? I cried out into the darkness. But all there was silence. Continuing to move forward, I finally found myself standing in front of a strange tree. Looking up at it, it looked twisted and ugly, as if it was a tortured soul. Its twisted branches stretched out like clawed fingers, as if it was trying to grab something. Backing up, the cold water brushed up against my legs, causing a cold chill to run up my back. Just then a chilling laugh pierced the darkness. Looking back towards the tree, a black figure slinked out from behind it, its chilling blood-red eyes sending a chill deep into my soul. Dark Link, where the hell am I, and where's Link? I sneered, raising my phoenix circles up in front of me. Snapping his fingers, a sudden light filled the room, lighting up the surroundings. A sudden shock ran through me. Oh, my goddesses, is this the strange room Link described where he first met his counterpart? Then something caught my eye. Looking over my shoulder, there, bound to the wall on the way out, was Link. Oh my goddesses, Link! I cried, clopping my hands over my mouth. What the hell have you done to him, you bastard? I told you earlier, if you want to play Woof, I will show you just how Woof I can play. An evil glint rose in Dark Link's eyes, the flame of hatred flicking in them. If you want to save your love, then you must defeat me. Eyeing him, I poised into a fighting stance, placing my phoenix circles up in front of me. I knew I was in for a long battle.
If you enjoyed this exhibit and you want to support the Mutant Museum, please consider donating, either on Ko-fi or as a regular Patreon supporter like all of these exceptionally cool people, particularly Break System BSE and Michael Fattori, and you'll be able to see your own name up here on the very next video for as little as $1 a month. Please also consider following me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, as well as buying one or both of my ebooks. Links to all of these are in the description, and thanks for being you.